It's a familiar sentiment amongst people who live in cities. Drop everything and move to a simpler life in a smaller city. But life in small towns isn't quite as idyllic as it seems like from the outside. Ask anyone who's made the move, and the answer is almost always that you need to have something meaningful to do. And that search for meaning usually involves working with local communities. Whether it's livelihood generation, cleaning up the environment, or using technological innovation to improve lives, once upon a time city dwellers are doing a world of good in rural spaces. These are their stories.
Miraj and I have been walking a lot on jungle trails in the Himalayas. In the upper reaches of Kumaon in the North Indian state of Uttarakhand, the dense pine forests are littered with pine needles that are slippery and dangerous if you're not careful. The needles are usually just burnt as waste by the villagers. Imagine our surprise when we heard about a man who's come up with an ingenious idea to use pine needles for power generation. We're heading for Avani, a social enterprise based in Verinag. The pine needles are collected from the forest floor. They are then brought to a central location where they are shredded into smaller pieces, then brought through a process called biomass gasification. The biomass combusts with less oxygen, basically less air supply. So instead of fully burning, it turns into combustible gases through a pyrolytic process. The gases are then cleaned through a series of filters in an ultra-clean mode. It is fuel for an engine, which then turns an alternator that creates electricity. Then the electricity is synchronized with the same frequency and voltage as the grid, so that it can be pumped into the electricity grid, which then goes out to the villages. The process also gives about 15% of residual charcoal, which can be used as a soil enricher, or in this case cooking fuel for the women in the village.
So Rajneesh is going to meet us here, he said.
Yeah.
Oh, this must be, look at this place, huh? Beautiful, huh?
I like the color, huh?
Yeah, gorgeous. Oh, that must be him. Is that him?
Here he is, man. The star of the show. Hey, how you doing, Johan?
Hi.
Miraj?
How do you do? My name is Miraj. Johan's been telling me all about you.
Yeah. I've read up a little bit about your organization, but now coming here, I mean, this place is enormous, huh?
We've been doing our bit.
What all other things are you into?
I wonder if you saw the wastewater treatment that we do and grow organic vegetables.
Yeah.
But that's only half the story.
Okay.
We also grow organic vegetables with that water because it's a nutrient-rich water.
Okay.
And it's a shame to waste it, actually.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is sewage from the facility?
From our campus, yes.
Oh, I see. So it
Everything.
recycle the whole thing?
Everything, including the black toilet water, toilet flush.
Really? You use that as well?
Yes.
For
we
what?
don't
For
really-
farming?
For farming, yes.
I see. So
Sounds like you have a very small, environmental footprint then. You take care of everything, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you collect rainwater in that as well?
We collect a lot of rainwater. We have almost every building has hundreds, thousands of liters of rainwater. So we are collecting about 800,000 liters of rainwater.
800,000
liters.
Wow.
And we mostly live on that water.
So, मतलब पानी की समस्या तो है यहाँ पर?
Huge.
Huge.
But there is huge amount of rain.
There is, huh?
Yes.
Although I have to
We
say,
get
when we were
2
driving, it
meters.
looked really dry.
Yeah, now it's dry, but during the monsoon, you get about 2.5 meters of rainfall.
Centimeters, you mean?
Meters.
Meters?
Meters.
No.
What? Monsoon, winters.
Really?
Yes, everything. 2.5 meters. Yes, we have.
Insane.
So that's the irony, when you get so much water and still you are a dry place,
Right.
That's what we need to reverse.
But is that only in the monsoon time? You don't get much in the
in the
winter
winters
time?
also? Yes, so we do get enough rain in the
I didn't realize
winters.
you had so much going on. Would you mind showing us around a bit?
Absolutely, quite happy to do that. Come, I'll show you the vegetable farm.
हाँ, बिल्कुल बहुत सुंदर भी लगा.
Please.
Hello, cow.
The garden vegetables were fed by enriched water coming from Rajneesh's water treatment system that he had developed on site. He showed us all the different varieties of produce they had before introducing us to Rashmi Bharti, who co-founded Avani with him nearly 20 years ago. At Avani, they produce organic natural dyes in a range of different colors. They also color fabric and weave shawls and stoles from locally sourced wool and silk. Through this organization, they managed to employ local people using local skills traditionally found in these valleys. The main focus is on sustainably harvested and produced tints, dyes, textiles and garments.
I know, it's the same thing.
This is like Johan heaven right here.
Oh, nice,
Mother.
yeah, nice.
That's
Johan
mine. Huh? I've got my eyes on that one. Don't look.
Johan has to try a couple of other jackets, I think. See,
I want to get one of these, huh? They're Indian style.
So these
huh?
are all yours.
These
They're
are
all made here.
yes. So what we work with is hand weaving, hand spinning, knitting, and natural dyeing. These are pretty much the range of things that we cover.
So you don't just do the colors, you do the whole process.
We do the whole process,
Yeah.
farm to fabric. We
Nice.
were growing silk for 7 years, so we
yeah.
planted more than 10,000 trees in this area. We were starting from cocoon production to hand spinning, hand weaving, natural dyeing, and tailoring.
So now you buy the silk from elsewhere, you don't deal with that silk production
Yes,
anymore?
last 2 years we are buying the silk from other cooperatives and
Okay.
organizations like ourselves.
Okay.
Is she
And-
wearing? Is that yours? It must be, right?
Yes, so this is, some of the designs are very contemporary that we do.
Very nice.
This is made of 100% local wool,
Wow.
hand spun, woven, and tailored here.
Looks very becoming on her. Huh?
Yes, she looks beautiful.
I'm all for social enterprise, especially when it involves hand-woven woolies. Just can't get enough of this stuff. On our way down from Berinag, we've stopped in Kasar Devi, a small but famous hamlet that used to be a bit of a hippie hangout back in the day. Rahul used to be a Broadway actor in New York and now lives in Kasar Devi, where he takes people on spiritual and life inspiration tours. He walked with us to visit the renowned Nanda Devi Handloom and Heritage Center. In this independent cooperative, 80 women are engaged in producing superb woven and knitted products from sheep wool, silk, pashmina, and even alpaca wool.
So Johan, this is a very nice enterprise that is made to, give people, women employment. That's the main setup.
Right.
And you'll see a lot of great Mongolian pashmina, Tibetan pashmina. Deviyo ko namaskar. Yes. Kaise bhaiya? I'm glad you liked it. Now I got some history for you.
Yeah.
There's Bob Dylan inside.
Here?
Yeah.
Kasar Devi was once known as Crank's Ridge for its posture of attracting people who were or went on to become icons of counterculture in their times. So you had beatniks like Allen Ginsberg and Timothy Leary, Tibetologist Robert Thurman, who came with his young daughter Uma, who we all know today as the big Hollywood star. Some came to visit Lama Govinda's ashram in Kasar Devi. Then there were writers like Tagore and D.H. Lawrence and John Steinbeck, musicians like Cat Stevens and Bob Dylan. All these people made their way to this extraordinary place back in the day. There is no smoke without fire, but is it possible to combust wood and not pollute the environment? When we first heard about the Himalayan rocket stove, it sounded like an impossible concept. So we headed to a remote village in Himachal Pradesh, Hamta, a couple of hours from Manali to find out for ourselves. Russell Collins first came to India as a traveller many years back and fell in love with the Himalayas. Deeply affected by the deforestation he saw, he was inspired to develop the Himalayan rocket stove project.
Today we're going up to Karongla, 5,500 meters to do a burn test. We've got 2 rocket stoves here in the back, one Rajasthani, one Ladakhi, one Aussie, and let's see if we can make a cup of chai on top of the mountain.
In the process, he came up with a way of making low-cost smokeless cook stoves while experimenting with the rocket stove in Ladakh.
Making coffee using the Himalayan rocket stove, and we've got our coffee brewing, we've got our vortexing, water is boiling, and Chosy is fixing the flat tire. And both the stoves are running smokeless.
Based in Australia and working in India, Russell juggles his life between the two countries, and Tenzin, who is from Hamta village, has been working with Russell for many years now. अच्छा अच्छा ये वही चूल्हा है
Namaste.
अच्छा Russell, this is one of your stoves, is it?
Yeah, so what we've got here, we've got the traditional chula on the left, and what they used to have was another traditional chula, a smaller one, which was all crumbling apart. So
we were here, we were making the donuts, and we thought, okay, let's go and install one of our smokeless chillers, smoke reduced. So we took out all of the old clay and rocks, and then we put in our clay donuts. And I'll show you later what I mean by clay donuts. So basically, it's built up with these clay rings, which are mixed with biomass and grass. And the grass holds it all together, makes it strong. And the biomass, like sawdust or sometimes we use puffed rice. And that gives little pockets of something that'll burn out. So we put it together, we fire it up, and it takes a few days to a week of firing, and it burns out all these little bits of biomass, and then you end up with little pockets of air, let's say, in the clay, and that makes the clay tubes insulating. And an insulated tube is the secret of a rocket stove because it makes the fire hotter. The heat can't get away, so it's trapped, and trapped heat just gets hotter, and you throw in enough oxygen, and then the heat gets over a certain point where the smoke itself will burn. And it's really that simple. It's just heat plus oxygen burns the smoke. And smoke itself is mostly hydrocarbons.
It must be a reasonably simple contraption to put together if you just sort of, you know.
It is. The essence of it is very simple. It's just, it's basically a dual combustion chamber. And so that we get two benefits. Number one, of course, by burning the smoke, we're reducing the pollution by a significant amount. But the second benefit is that smoke itself is a fuel. So we're releasing energy, so we actually get double the heat for the same amount of wood. So it becomes more efficient. So it's really a win-win all the way around.
क्या बन रहा है उस पे? अब बन रही है तो पी लेंगे, बन रही है तो पी लेंगे.
Tensen's home in Hamta serves as a makeshift workshop where different variants of the stoves are built and tested. The basic rocket stove is very cheap to make and can be constructed using earth and biomass and other materials easily available in the villages. Russell's stoves are really quite extraordinary. Even though it's hard for city slickers like us to fully grasp the utility of something like this, it's obvious that these stoves use significantly less fuel and pollute much less. Plus, they also heat the house during winter, which is a crucial aspect of life in the Himalayan villages.
Gosh, I love that we walk so much in the hills.
Well, that's the thing to do in the hills, isn't it?
Who are we meeting now?
We're going to meet Swati, who has started a social initiative called the Colour Caravan.
In Nagar, a small town in Himachal Pradesh, we're going to meet Swati Seth, who moved from Delhi to set up the Colour Caravan, a social enterprise that generates livelihoods for women in the villages around Nagar. And instead of the usual shawls, jackets and the like, these ladies make a very different kind of product.
Stories.
Well, you know, it's nice to see change makers, isn't it?
I suppose.
I think it's in here.
Here, eh?
Yeah.
Swati Seth studied design and worked as a commercial artist. She even had a stint in Delhi working on digital content. All the while, she couldn't get rid of the feeling that she needed to dramatically change her milieu and the life she was leading. Eventually, she set up the Colour Caravan, an organization that sought to connect artisans and urban markets.
So you're making soft toys?
So we started with making accessories like beanies, caps, socks, sweaters for kids, stuff like that, blankets, baby blankets, stuff like that. But then because
this is some of them?
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Thank you so much.
The sheep wool, eh?
Yeah, this is Himalayan sheep wool.
Lovely.
So then, but the thing is, we sell in the cities, and the winter there is very short. So we have, my worry was, how will I keep my women engaged all the year round? Because I can't stock, like I don't have money to like invest in the inventory to stock up for, you know, like that we make all the year round and then we sell, you know, only in those 2 months of winter.
Right.
So when, that's when I realized that I need to make something else as well. So that's how we started with toys. And now we're making more accessories. We're moving to more materials also. Now we started exploring materials like cotton yarn, jute. So we're making, but toys of course remain our star product.
Star product, eh?
They're absolutely our
I have
star
a feeling that
product.
this is an extremely long-fangled way of getting a discount on a soft toy. Is that what you're trying to do here?
Yeah.
Today, the Colour Caravan's best-selling products are handicrafts of a different kind. Toys, woven, knitted, crocheted by ladies at Nagar and surrounding villages. these toys have become extremely popular.
The Wool Folk Project. It's a tongue twister. The Wool Folk it's a tongue twister. It's a tongue twister. Bad move. Bad move. The Wool Folk Project. Why did you say that? The Wool Folk Project.
They feel like very solid and like... That's nice.
Very nice.
So once we like अभी क्योंकि ये नए वाले हैं तो once हाथ सेट हो जाएगा तो ये फटाफट बनने लगेंगे. We've expanded the team. We've had 5 women who have joined us.
Right.
So basically हमको और हाथों की ज़रूरत है. We need more women because we're getting bigger orders and to be able to fulfill them, we need more hands. So we're training. So now what जो पुराने members हैं, the senior ones, so उनके under we are trying to get like 2 to 3 more people. Right now we just have 5 more. And they will
Where do you find that most of the orders are coming from? Like big corporations are starting to buy?
No, from stores, like individuals also, and because the production is happening right under my nose, so it's like easy for me to
right under her nose.
Yeah. So we can we also take orders from individuals. We also do customize orders, like we do stuff like baby blankets, big throws, bags, stuff like.
What is this exactly? You're supposed to put it on your hand?
No, this is actually this was sample. This was a rattle for a kid.
Oh, a rattle.
Yeah.
Oh.
So इसमें वो अभी because we were trying a new yarn. This doesn't have the.
You also have a baby to give his opinions.
Yeah.
He's a final quality check. चलता है कि नहीं चलता?
चलता है, yeah. So toys came in much later. But like I mentioned earlier that we were making other stuff, but toys remain our star products. But we do make other stuff also.
So where can one pick it up from if you want some toys?
So besides that, one can buy online through.
I can buy
through our social media pages.
Oh yeah, really? Delivered and everything?
Yeah, we do it.
Wow, now that is a big one, huh? Very cool. Are you going to order a few toys?
I will.
Huh?
I will order for my nieces.
For your nieces? Such a liar. It's not for his nieces.
No, he told me he has to buy. I've given him.
It is for my nieces.
Yeah, not for his nieces. He's going to put them in his own house. I know it. Johan and I are both foodies and we've been guilty of unabashed gluttony ever since our travels began. In Shimla, the capital city of Himachal Pradesh, we're looking at atoning for our sins by volunteering at a langar, a community food mess that's run out of a hospital. Sarabjit Singh is a businessman who sells shoes for children. What most people don't know is that every day after wrapping up work, Sarabjit, or Bobby Uncle as he's better known in these parts, drives a hearse for poor people who can't afford one. A few years back, Bobby decided to start serving tea and biscuits to patients and their families at the cancer wing of Indira Gandhi Medical College. People got to know and slowly contributions started pouring in. Today he runs a full-fledged langar or a mess 2 times a day at the hospital. For a change, Johan and I are going to do something meaningful with our time. Bobby, I want you to explain to Johan the concept of seva and a langar because he's wondering what we're doing.
So as you are seeing that what we are doing, the people whomsoever are coming over here are not coming happy. They are patients, they are attendants, and sometimes they themselves are so much sufferers, suffering from cancer and other diseases. Because it is the only cancer hospital of whole Himachal.
Really?
Almost 300 people are having OPD, 100 people are having chemotherapy every day, and we have a concept of langar in our religion also. But the people whomsoever are coming here, we believe they are real sufferers. And I often say everywhere, the true prayers are only performed in hospitals.
I was wondering, are you doing this entirely by yourself?
No.
You were mentioning something about schools and how does that work?
Yeah, we are having 22 roti banks right now in Shimla.
Roti banks? What is that all about?
That roti bank concept is that whole people going to the school, the children are going to the school. Yeah. And if one school is having 800 kids,
right,
and if 800 kids, I go to the schools, colleges, universities,
right,
teach them a 15-minute class and tell them what is sharing. Whenever you are coming to the school,
you get one extra roti.
One extra roti for my langar. So every day I am getting 3,000 rotis
from different schools.
Different schools. We don't cook rotis here. I have given people a platform that they can come here. They can celebrate birthdays, anniversaries.
So if I want to celebrate my birthday here, I need to contribute for one meal.
Yeah, you just.
And how much would that be?
Yeah, that will be 11,000 rupees.
11,000 rupees?
Yeah.
But that couldn't cover your cost.
But so many people are contributing rice bags and so many other things to us.
Right.
So that is a minimum amount, 11,000 rupees.
Wow.
You can give it to us. We will cook the food. You just have to come on your birthday and you just have to serve that lunch.
It's been a very different experience for us, and I speak for myself. I'm sure it's the same for you, because we've been traveling, and we've been having a pretty good time. But this is almost like voluntourism, is it? Almost. I mean, it feels good. It feels good, eh?
The hills in India, whether it's popular hill stations like Manali and Shimla or remote trekking routes like Kher Ganga in Himachal Pradesh, are struggling with trash disposal. Along with water shortage, garbage has emerged as one of the most critical issues facing the entire country, but the hills in particular. And the one biggest villain is single-use plastic that's choking cities' drains, destroying marine life, and has even found its way into the food chain. Appropriately, Johan and I are joining a cleaning drive near Manali. The drive has been organized by Healing Himalayas, an organization that has been at the forefront of public action against plastic and garbage since 2009. We're joining Pradeep Sangwan, the founder of the group, a group of school students and volunteers for a day hike to Jogini Falls, a popular day trek, to collect as much trash as we can. Also joining us is Rohan Thakur, a popular vlogger from Manali.
और आज हमारी थीम है बीट प्लास्टिक पोल्यूशन। क्या थीम है?
बीट प्लास्टिक पोल्यूशन।
और बीट प्लास्टिक पोल्यूशन, उसको कैसे बीट करेंगे हम? बाय रिफ्यूजिंग इट। प्लास्टिक पोल्यूशन में सबसे ज़्यादा जो प्रॉब्लम एनवायरनमेंट को करता है वो सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक है। सो वी गोना टेक अ वॉक टू द जोगनी वाटरफॉल, विल कलेक्ट ऑल द प्लास्टिक अलोंग द वे।
Pradeep is an earth warrior if there ever was one. He started Healing Himalayas in 2009 after he moved to Manali and noticed trash piling up even on remote trekking routes. Pradeep took it upon himself to make as many sorties as he could, collecting all the trash he could find. His efforts snowballed as more and more people joined him. Today, Healing Himalayas conducts cleaning drives several times a month in places like Manali, Shimla, and a host of trekking routes, including the popular hike to Kher Ganga and Jogini Falls, where we're headed.
We meet again.
I'm shocked by the amount of trash that we've collected in
I know.
half an hour.
Yeah, you're gonna find a lot more once we reach the top.
But it's not even visible, eh?
Yeah.
Not at all, not at all.
It really adds up to quite a few bags of garbage.
You have to give a little fight to collect the plastic also, because it's really deep down in the bushes.
Yeah.
So.
It's like people don't want to throw it on the main road also, they want to find like a small corner where nobody can see it, and then like chuk jai, and then we go put it.
And beer bottles broken.
Beer bottles though,
this makes them guilt-free, I think.
No, but why break them?
That's beats me, man.
Why
I
break
have
them?
no
Because
idea.
then not only are you polluting, you're going to make it unsafe.
Unsafe.
I mean, then people can't even come here. But I can imagine this spot a few years back must have been just pristine, huh? Pristine.
A few years back, 3-4 years back, this place was like a haven for like a lot of book readers, yoga people, this Surya, like Namaskar people, like, you know, lots of like
yoga,
crazy
sunbathing
people used to be up here. And I remember coming, like, you know, and hanging out for hours and hours just on these rocks around here. Today, you can't do that, unfortunately. Just because there are way too many people, man, like way too many people
and
up
it's too
there.
loud also. Because
And it's really loud.
It has become a party place. Everybody's carrying the
yeah.
speakers. You know, it disturbs the whole ecology around us, and especially the wildlife, because they play it very loud. You know, already the water.
Yeah, we can hear them.
It's just the whole essence of the place, like it just goes. It used to be a holy place, you know, and then you come here, no sounds, no nothing. It's beautiful.
And what is this? Where is the plastic going to go?
So this is going to go to the municipal council dump yard, wherein they're going to process it to waste to electricity. So the project will start in October. So it's a huge step for Himachal Pradesh. There are 2 waste to electricity projects. One is in Shimla and another one is Manali, because considering that so many tourists coming in and so much of garbage generating every day, so they're going to convert it into electricity.
They'll burn it?
Yeah, they'll burn it in a way that they don't harm our environment. So the process is something.
Care of those toxic fumes and all.
Yeah. They're going to reuse it, some technical part of it, but yeah.
You know, the funny thing is,
people you don't expect to be doing stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I've had people, educated, well-to-do people, chuck a bottle out of the window with me in the car, and
just like this.
Yeah, my fuse is blown and I've lost it, and they're like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "What are you doing? Like, what are you doing?"
So basically, it's not about education; it's about your attitude, how your upbringing is.
This is the first. I've been finding so many of these. Please, if you're coming up here, just don't get any of this. Just pack yourself a packet of momos, come here. If you don't like the momos, throw the momos, no problem. Don't get plastic.
आप ना सबसे लास्ट में रहो बच्चों के पास।
Pradeep's passion was contagious. Even though we're all aware of the global problem that plastic poses to the world, but to see someone take it upon himself to do something and to get to a point where it's genuinely making a difference left a deep and lasting impression. One thing is obvious to both Miraj and I. When you work for others, then your work takes on a quality that it may not otherwise have. Who would have thought we'd be getting life lessons on this trip?